is Amy at Blackberry Bell, Upcycled Furniture. I'm going to lean you up just a tad. And hey, this is Amy at Upcycled. Cut. Hi there, this is Amy at Blackberry Bell, Upcycled Furniture. And I've got a fun piece that we're going to work on today. This is a definite 1960s or 70s big, chunky, detailed, solid wood piece of furniture. And I'm going to go out of my comfort zone on this one. I'm going to be using DIY paint, which is not out of my comfort zone, but I'm going to try to blend some colors and make it look kind of boho, hippie chic. And you know, my typical paint is a solid color or a couple of colors or a different color top and bottom, but I'm going to try. I've done it a couple times and it's pretty cool and it's pretty fun, and it's always freeing to just let your brush go wherever and mix stuff up and blend colors together. So I felt like this big chunky piece would be the perfect piece to do that with. So I am going to work on that. Look how cool it is though. It's got 4 big chunky drawers on the inside. I'm not doing anything with that other than cleaning. This piece has been out in a workshop, not a barn, but a workshop. It was an enclosed workshop, but it's got spider webs and leaves and probably some other buggy parts on it. So I'm going to give it a good cleaning with my simple green. I'm going to vacuum out the drawers, and I'm just going to leave the drawers in on this one to blend. I'm going to paint over the handles and everything. So it's going to be a little bit of a freestyle tie-dye day on this one. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the DIY paint. This is Debbie's Design Diary DIY paint. And if you've been on YouTube and you've seen Debbie Beard, she does some amazing things with this paint. It is a no VOC paint, which means that it doesn't have those odors that some paints have, where you can't paint it inside, you can't paint something, you know, you have to wear a respirator. This will not hurt your lungs. This will not be a strong smelling paint. It is a very, well, it's a non-VOC paint. It's all natural. I don't have my glasses on, but it's only got, I think, 7 ingredients, and it is a very highly pigmented paint. So this one is Hey Sailor. It's a beautiful navy color. Only got a little bit left. I haven't yet decided what all colors I'm going to use, but so far I've picked out all of these greens and blues, and I'm going to do something with some of those. This one is Mint Chip, but DIY paint is a clay-based paint. It is definitely easy to work with. It's easy to blend. It's easy to clean up. It's totally different from what I sell with the Wise Owl brand, the 1 hour enamel. So the 1 hour enamel is going to dry really hard. It's got a built-in top coat. You have to do a lot of prep for that, which is fine. I mean, most paints you have to do a lot of prep with. This one, not so much. You don't have to do so much prep. This piece I'm not going to sand because it's already very worn. I'm not going to have trouble with the paint sticking to it. All I did was clean it. I'm not going to prime it. Because I'm going to be blending, and so I'm going to be moving this paint around a lot with water and a brush. So we're going to just kind of wing it here and get started and see what happens and where this goes. So I was out of my mermaid tail, which is a DIY color, but I do have some Wise Owl chalk synthesis paint. This is a chalk based paint that I do sell at Sheffield's. I do not sell the chalk paint in Covington, but I do sell Wise Owl 1 hour enamel and chalk paint at Sheffield's. This is called Deep Turquoise because I wanted to use a turquoise color to make it more of a boho look. And I'm going to be using Deep Turquoise and Wise Owl chalk paint and DIY paint Mint Chip. So here are the colors here that I'm going to start with. Okay, I've never tried this before, but I've watched some videos on it, so y'all are going to see it first here. This is a Klingon. Klingons are my favorite brushes. I do sell Klingons in my store. I do not have this one, but I can get it if anybody wants it. It's a Klingon 100, and it's about 4 or 5 inches wide. When you're working with clay and chalk paint, you want your brush to be damp. So I'm just going to use my Mr. Bottle. And I like Mr. Bottles better than spray bottles. You can use a spray bottle, but I like the Mr. Bottle because it just comes out really fine and less, you know, in one spot. Excuse me. So what I've done is I've put the Deep Turquoise on one side and the Mint Chip on the other. I don't know if you can tell or not, but the Mint Chip is way thicker than the chalk synthesis paint, the Deep Turquoise. So I'm just gonna put some on my brush. And now I've got half and half. And I am just going to start layering it on. Let's see what this does. So you can see the different layers that are showing up here. And this is just like a brush blending, I guess is what you would call it. We're going to go back with other colors too, but this will be the base. And I can tell it's going to be a pain to get into all these little grooves, but we're going to do it. One other thing that I forgot to do, it's good to have your surface wet so that the paint really moves well. It doesn't get stuck. And I have a hard time with this because it looks messy to me until it's done. And I want it to look perfect, but it looks so cool if you can do it. It looks really cool. It has such a cool effect. And this big brush really covers a lot of territory. This piece is so big, and it's nice to have a big brush for something like this. You know, something that you want to be kind of just thrown on there, honestly. I'm just getting this really wet on this trim so that I can move that paint around a little bit more. I'm liking it so far. We're going to keep going. I'll wet my brush a little bit more here. I think painting details like this really makes them stand out so beautifully. inspired on this piece. My friend and her family they just got to Miami today, and they're headed out on a cruise tomorrow. And she took a picture of the water as they were coming into the airport, and I said, "Ooh, those are the colors I want for this piece." So they were kind of these colors. So thank you, Sherry, for that inspiration. It's almost like this piece of furniture is a big canvas. Okay, we're gonna go around to this side and see what happens over here, if you can see there. Now I've used less than half of my paint so far on that whole piece, the whole front of the piece. All right. This needs to be a little wetter. They say that DIY paint is so natural that you could eat it. I would not advise it, but it's all natural ingredients. I'll have to look those up for you so we can get an idea of what's in it. But if you're looking for something natural, this is the product for you. Okay, I'm not liking the straight lines of this, so I'm gonna get it wet and just let it drip down a little bit, maybe. There it goes. There's a painter that I watch. She's an artist, really. I mean, she does art on furniture, but this is one of the things that she does a lot. Her name is Dion, and the Turquoise Iris is her shop name, but you need to follow her. She is a wonderful artist. And also follow Debbie Beard. She's the one that created the DIY paint, or came up with the idea and had someone else make it, but she's the owner of the DIY paint brand. And she is super talented with blending and using all kinds of materials and all the things. Okay, I don't want that to look drippy, although some people like it. I just wanted it to be a little more blended in. Not super happy with this look. Not sure what that was. Still there. Something on the furniture. There it goes. Okay. Now I'm going to try this again. Now that looks better to me. right, here we are on the other side. And looks like I'm gonna have just enough paint to get this one done. I'm gonna add lots of water. You can see that this side is really messed up. It's faded and it's got splotches. And as long as it's good and clean, it'll be okay. Ooh, that went on really well. I'm liking the way that looks. You can't see it, can you? How's that? Maybe. When you re-wet your brush with a spray, it reactivates that paint that's on there. See? So you can get more paint off of it. So really, I don't need to load my paintbrush again. And it just helps the paint to move around. And that's what you want if you're going through a BOHO blended effect, which I am. So, okay, I'm liking that. Now, if you ever see something that you want to change, you can come back, you can wet it down and move stuff around. Good morning, I am back at it. I've got the base coat of this piece is now dry. It can be reactivated with water, and we're going to be using some water here in a minute. I was inspired by like the Caribbean and the sunset in the Caribbean, and so I want to add some reds, yellows, pinks, maybe some more greens and darker blues. So I think I'm going to start with doing some darker colors. I've got these three that I'm looking at. So this is Hey Sailor. These are all DIY. Hey Sailor, it's kind of a navy blue. And then Bohemian Blue, which may be my favorite of all times. It is a very, very dark turquoise navy. And then Blue Iris, which is like a cobalt blue. So these three, if I can get them up here, these three are the ones that I'm looking at. The Bohemian is this one. And then the one on the bottom is the Hey Sailor. You can see that green in this one, in the Bohemian Blue. But I think I'm going to start with that Bohemian Blue. Or maybe the cobalt. No, I think I'm going to start with the darker. I'm going to start with the Bohemian Blue. I'm going to use my Klingon 40 round brush. I think it's a large round. It's either a large or medium. I can't remember, but I sell these brushes also. So we are going to, there's not much left in here, but there's enough. Very, very highly pigmented color, and you can't really see it. Can you see it on the tip of there? Ah, it's beautiful. Beautiful blue. So I'm going to be using my water bottle, my mister, my brush, and paint. And I'm going to just wet down my brush a little bit. And I'm going to have this mister handy for when I need it. All right, here we go. I'm just putting a little bit on the end of the brush like this. And then we're just going to go for it. And I want to do this in random areas just to make it look kind of like a little bit of an outline. Add some texture. And look how beautiful that blue looks with the other two blues. I'm going to wet it down just a tad. I just want to lightly feather it out. Okay, I'm going to go to this side and do the same thing. I think I'm going to put a little water down first. I mean, I don't want it to look symmetrical, even though that is like that's my thing, is making it look perfect and looking perfectly symmetrical. So I think instead of doing that side, I'm going to do a little bit down here so that it's not symmetrical. I'm being purposefully non-symmetrical with this one. Maybe do a little less on this side. Maybe do a little around here to give it some depth. I really don't have a plan. I'm just going with the flow. So you don't have to have a plan. You can have a general idea of what you want to do, and then maybe as you're painting, something else happens, and that's okay. And you can always come back and cover it up if you don't like the way that it's looking. I'm doing like a little dry brush here, going in all different directions to kind of highlight those edges. All right, I'm going to do a little bit on the bottom. I'm going to get my stool and readjust here where you can see the bottom part. Okay, I like the way that looks a lot. I love that. I love Bohemian blue. It's my favorite. Okay, so now over here, I think I'll do a little bit in different areas. So again, I'm just getting a little bit on my brush. And then just letting it go where it goes. Okay, a little over here. And yeah, some of this brown is showing through, and a lot of it's going to get covered up with the different colors of paint that I'm going to be using, but a lot of it's going to be showing, and that's okay. I think that adds to the effect that I'm looking for. I'm going to spray that just a tad. So when you spray the water over this, it just makes it blend better. It reactivates that dried paint underneath, and then you'll be able to get a better blend. Now, sometimes you might want it to be more drastic difference like this, but if you do spray it, and I'll show you, then you can get it blended just a little bit better. I don't want to cover up that mint right there, but I can kind of just blend it in together right there. Now again, if I spray a little bit more on my brush, then look, it comes, reactivates the paint, whatever little paint is left on the brush, so I can add some of that. If you're not able to do some of the artistic, let me take that back. If you are wanting to do some more artistic things, if you're an artist and you want to paint something beautiful on furniture, DIY paint is awesome for that because it is easily blended, reactivated, move around very easy on your furniture or on your canvas. A lot of people use it for canvas painting. Okay. I like that. All right. And I'll zoom you in a minute so that you can see all the different textures and layers. All right, so the next color I think I'm going to put on here to blend with that blue. Trying to decide. I think I might want to use some yellow. And when I add the yellow to that bohemian blue, it is going to create, of course, green. So I think I'm going to try that. I'm going to get a different brush. And this is just an old round brush that I have. I ordered it off of Amazon. Fine BB. This was a great brush before I started using Klingon. It's great for chalk painting. Okay, I got a different yellow because I saw this one over there. This one is called Liquid Sunshine, and it does look like bottled sunshine. Look how pretty that is. And once again, I'm going to spray my brush. You want to keep it wet. I'm about to run out of water, but that's okay. Okay, I just want to use a little bit of this, and I want to kind of blend it next to that bohemian blue. So I think I'm going to start right here. And now I'm out of water. Okay, let me go get more water. Okay, we're going to be using Liquid Sunshine. I've decided to use the same brush that I was using for the Bohemian Blue because I am going to be blending the two together. So I've gotten most of the paint off of this, but it's okay that I use the same brush because we're going to be blending. So we're going to start over here. And we're just going to add a little Liquid Sunshine. And don't you wish we could really bottle the sunshine a little bit better? Okay. Now we want to get a little, we want to see the yellow, but we also want to get a little green going. And there's the green. We do want to see some yellow. So I'm going to add that in here. And we're just going to use wispy brush strokes to kind of make it flare out a little. So I'm liking that. I'm liking that I can see the yellow and the green. And a little more yellow in here. There. And then you want to make sure it's blending together where you want it to blend. You're going for kind of a smoother transition for the most part. A lot of green, but I think I like it. I'm going to carry that down just a tad. Put a little over here, kind of faded. I think I want a little bit on the side too. Okay. I'm just going to kind of dab it around, add a little more depth to some of the other colors, bring in, a little bit of a lighter color. I guess it's kind of like a highlight. It's really fun layering all these colors together. I'm going to come on this side and let's see. I'm going to add a little more water right here so that I get a little more blending. I kind of like this brighter yellow here. So it almost looks like a lime green, which I really like. And we're going to add some dark pink into this, and it's going to be amazing. Okay, I think I'm actually going to add some of the dark pink now. So this is Kissing Booth. And I just want a touch of this. It's almost going to look red. I'm wondering, just need to put a little at like the corners. I'm using the same brush just for a little highlight. And then I can come back in a bit and blend where I want it blended. And mixing with that blue, it's becoming more of a purple. So I want some purple and I want some pink. And I really like it like this in the corners. So we're gonna almost dry brushing it on and then spreading it like that. Okay. I put a little bit right here. Okay, I'm liking this. I think I'm going to start on the bottom now.
All right, I'm happy with that for now. And I just noticed that I didn't add any yellow to the bottom, but I'm not sure that I want to. Let's see. Maybe just a tad. Just a tad. DIY paints dry lighter than the color in the bottle, but don't worry, because once you put the wax on, and you're going to have to do some type of protective coat over the top of this. So I'm going to use wax. You can also use Big Top, which is like a clear coat. Um, it's more like a poly that you could put over the top. But either way, it's going to deepen those colors once you put on the wax or the Big Top or whatever top coat you desire.
I had a lot of fun doing this piece and painting in a way that I don't normally do. It's really great to get out of your comfort zone sometimes and try some new techniques.